Hey guys, what's up? It's Sean, Autotopia LA, and I still am left a bit speechless at what I got to see this past weekend. There's a company called OVC Mustangs. OVC stands for Original Venice Crew, and if you don't know who that is, it's the original crew that ran Shelby back when Shelby was in Venice, when there was 6 or 8 employees. In some of the images you see in this video, you're gonna see a handful of guys wearing all white, because that's what they wore back in the day when they worked at Shelby. Honestly, I just still cannot believe what I got to see amongst all the cars that were there, and there was some incredible Shelbys. Started off with, you know, my buddy Chris and Paul, who shoots everything with me, rolling in Vicious. So it's always fun to see Vicious, and it comes rolling in and everybody always trips out on it because it's such a spectacular car. And then the parking lot was full of great cars. The inside showroom had Shelby GT350s all over the place. There was even a shooting brake, a station wagon version of a Shelby GT350, which was extraordinary to see. And that car was done back in the day. Ford GTs cruising around in there, you know, modern Ford GTs, a couple of Gen 2 Ford GTs. But what caught me the most was Paul and I got the opportunity, before the crowds got to go in, we got to go into the back room and see the GT40, not a replica, not a tribute car, but the actual car that Ken Miles drove to victory back in 1966, along with the other 2 GT40s when they went 1, 2, and 3 across the finish line at Le Mans, spanking Ferrari and everybody else. The car. And I know I may be being dramatic about it, but look, this is the greatest story in motorsports ever. And to see that car in person was staggering to me. I never thought in my lifetime I would get to see that car up close and personal like we did. While we were there shooting, Hot Rod Magazine was there, Motor Trend was there, and others were there shooting this car because it's such an important piece of motorsports history. Sitting right behind it was the Daytona Coupe that Bob Bondurant drove to multiple victories. Again, not a replica, not a tribute. You guys have seen we've shot stuff with Superformance recently, from their Daytona Coupe to their Shelby Cobras and other cars. But this is the actual car that Bob Bondurant drove to multiple victories. And again, this is a car that I did not think I would ever get to see in my lifetime. There was only 6 of these cars ever produced. This is one of those 6. Both of these cars are truly priceless, important pieces of motorsports history. I asked, because I'm always willing to ask the questions that you're not supposed to ask, I was curious, what do they value these cars at? Both of those cars are currently insured at $45 million a piece. And I thought that number was a little low, to tell you the truth, because in my opinion, these are truly priceless vehicles. Then parked right in line with it was a 1965 GT350 competition car known as the GT350R, a real original GT350R. I don't know the production number on it, but very few of those made. And what the OVC guys are doing right now, and this includes a few of the guys from the original Shelby crew, they're starting to produce 35 of the GT350Rs, and these are continuation cars. They're identical to what the original car was designed to be, because Ford changed a couple things on the original design, including they went to a solid rear axle instead of what was intended, which was an independent suspension. there's also a front treatment that's a little bit different than what ultimately went on the car that went into production. So they're producing 35 of these continuation cars. If I remember correctly, I believe the price is about $250,000 a piece. And this is what Shelby had originally intended on the car being. Independent rear suspension, which is gonna make a world of difference. So to see these 4 cars all in line together, I mean, truly left me speechless. I mean, my buddy Michael, who walked me back there, Michael's dad is the president of Shelby Club of America. You guys met Michael recently if you followed the channel. We shot his Falcon recently. Michael's very involved in what's going on over at the OVC crew, including running their social media. Michael walked us into the back area to see these cars up close. I actually got a little teary seeing these cars, which for any of you guys that can appreciate the depth and the importance of what these 2 cars, you'll get it. No, there's no video footage of me tearing up looking at cars, thank God. But that's just the level of importance that these cars have, and to be able to look in the interior and to see the driver's seat, to see the shifter, to think of Ken Miles driving that car to victory at Le Mans is staggering to me. To see the seating position of the Daytona Coupe, for any of you that don't know, the seat on that car is turned left like this because the trans tunnel is on an angle like this. So the seat has to sit on an angle while the pedals are over here. So the driver would have been sitting, Bob Bondurant would have been sitting with his feet, hands steering like this, but turned to his side. I can't imagine how you could drive that comfortably for more than a couple minutes, let alone for 24 hours and 12 hours and all the different endurance races they did with it. Just mind-boggling to me. It's back when, I'm not gonna take anything away from a modern race car driver, but this is when men were men. This is when the amount of safety in a car was almost nil. And to think that Daytona Coupe went from being a 289 Shelby Cobra to the world famous Daytona Coupe in 90 days from the time of the cocktail napkin sketch that Peter Brock did to the completed car going out and racing is mind-boggling. This was in the day before corporations ran the programs, and you were talking about years and years of development to get done and ultimately to get a car to a track. They had 90 days to rebody the 289 Shelby Cobra into what the Daytona Coupe became. It really is mind-boggling to me. And to see those on display was staggering, along with all the wonderful cars there. To see Bob Bondurant actually standing on the stage getting pictures taken with a lot of the Shelby crew, including a couple of the original Shelby guys, the original 6 or 8 employees that worked there. I know I've said it probably already way too many times in this video, but truly staggering to get the opportunity and the honor to see these cars up close and personal like we did. And we weren't planning on making a video out of this, so that's why this is the way we're doing it, is because it was so important. We felt that we needed to show it to any of you that are true enthusiasts. We had to show you guys what we had the opportunity to see. So that is it for today's episode. I truly hope you enjoyed what we got to show you here. And I wish for all of you that care that you could have been right there with us getting to see these cars up close and personal. So thanks for hanging and watching and supporting what we do. We appreciate it. And I will see you in the next episode. All right, man. Later.